Thankful people come, raise the song of harvest home. All is safely gathered in, ere the winter storms begin. God our Maker doth provide, for our wants to be supplied. Come to God's own temple, come, raise the song of harvest home. Go, our God doth roam, and shall take his harvest home. From his field shall purge away all that doth offend that day. Give his angel charge at last, in the fire of tares to cast, but the fruitful curse to sow in his garner evermore. And so, Lord, quickly come, breathe thy final harvest home. Gather thou thy people in, free from sorrow, free from sin. There forever purified, in thy presence to abide. Come with all thine angels, come, raise the glorious harvest home. Good morning. I'm still at my mom's. There's a view out of her back window from the kitchen. And we are continuing in our journey through the scriptures. We are still in that the early movements of God's people, a little over a year after they've left Egypt. They've heard instructions from the Lord. They've started on the move, and they are not happy. And we are picking up in Numbers 14, verse 1, hearing about the people rebelling again. Then all the people began weeping aloud, and they cried all night. Their voices rose in a great chorus of complaint against Moses and Aaron. We wish we had died in Egypt, or even here in the wilderness, they wailed. Why has the Lord taken us to this country only to have us die in battle? Our wives and little ones will be carried off as slaves. Let's get out of here and return to Egypt. Then they plotted among themselves. Let's choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell face down on the ground before the people of Israel. Two of the men who had explored the land, Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, tore their clothing. They said to the community of Israel, the land we explored is a wonderful land, and if the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It is a rich land, flowing with milk and honey, and he will give it to us. Do not rebel against the Lord, and don't be afraid of the people of the land. They are only helpless prey to us. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them. But the whole community began to talk about stoning Joshua and Caleb. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to all the Israelites from above the tabernacle. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will these people reject me? Will they never believe me, even after all the miraculous signs I have done among them? I will disown them and destroy them with a plague. Then I will make you into a nation far greater and mightier than they are. Moses intercedes for the people, beginning in Numbers 14, verse 13. But what will the Egyptians think when they hear about it? Moses pleaded with the Lord. They know full well the power you displayed in rescuing these people from Egypt. They will tell this to the inhabitants of this land, who are well aware that you are with this people. They know, Lord, that you have appeared in full view of your people in the pillar of cloud that hovers over them. They know that you go before them in the pillar of cloud by day and in the pillar of fire by night. Now if you slaughter all these people, the nations that have heard of your fame will say, the Lord was not able to bring them into the land he swore to give them, so he killed them in the wilderness. Please, Lord, Prove that your power is as great as you have claimed it to be. For you said, the Lord is slow to anger and rich in unfailing love, forgiving every kind of sin and rebellion. Even so, he does not leave sin unpunished, but he punishes the children for the sins of their fathers to the third and fourth generations. Please pardon the sins of this people because of your magnificent, unfailing love, just as you have forgiven them ever since they left Egypt. Then the Lord said, I will pardon them as you have requested, but as surely as I live, and as surely as the earth is filled with the Lord's glory, not one of these people will ever enter that land. They have seen my glorious presence and the miraculous signs I performed both in Egypt and in the wilderness, but again and again they tested me by refusing to listen. They will never even see the land I swore to give their ancestors. None of those who have treated me with contempt will enter it. But my servant Caleb is different from the others. He has remained loyal to me, and I will bring him into the land he explored. His descendants will receive their full share of that land. Now turn around, and don't go on toward the land where the Amalekites and Canaanites live. Tomorrow you must set out for the wilderness in the direction of the Red Sea. The Lord punishes the Israelites, beginning in Numbers 14, verse 26. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, How long will this wicked nation complain about me? I have heard everything the Israelites have been saying. Now tell them this, as surely as I live, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. I, the Lord, have spoken. You will all die here in this wilderness, because you complained against me. None of you who are 20 years old or older were counted in the census will enter the land I swore to give you. The only exceptions will be Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. You said your children would be taken captive. Well, I will bring them safely into the land, and they will enjoy what you have despised. But as for you, your dead bodies will fall in this wilderness, and your children will be like shepherds, wandering in the wilderness 40 years. In this way they will pay for your faithlessness until the last of you lies dead in the wilderness. Because the men who explored the land were there for 40 days, you must wander in the wilderness for 40 years, a year for each day, suffering the consequences of your sins. You will discover what it is like to have me for an enemy. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will do these things to every member of the community who has conspired against me. They will all die here in this wilderness. Then the 10 scouts who had incited the rebellion against the Lord by spreading discouraging reports about the land were struck dead with a plague before the Lord. Of the 12 who had explored the land, only Joshua and Caleb remained alive. When Moses reported the Lord's words to the Israelites, there was much sorrow among the people. So they got up early the next morning and set out for the hill country of Canaan. Let's go, they said. We realize that we have sinned, but now we're ready to enter the land the Lord has promised us. But Moses said, Why are you now disobeying the Lord's orders to return to the wilderness? It won't work. Do not go into the land now. You will only be crushed by your enemies because the Lord is not with you. When you face the Amalekites and Canaanites in battle, you will be slaughtered. The Lord will abandon you because you have abandoned the Lord. But the people pushed ahead toward the hill country of Canaan, despite the fact that neither Moses nor the Ark of the Lord's covenant left the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in those hills came down and attacked them and chased them as far as Hormah. Laws concerning offerings, beginning in Numbers 15, verse 1. The Lord told Moses to give these instructions to the people of Israel. When you finally settle in the land I'm going to give you, and you want to please the Lord with a burnt offering or any other offering given by fire, the sacrifice must be an animal from your flocks of sheep and goats or from your herds of cattle. When it is an ordinary burnt offering, a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, a freewill offering, or a special sacrifice at any of the annual festivals, whoever brings it must also give to the Lord a grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1 quart of olive oil. For each lamb offered as a whole burnt offering, you must also present 1 quart of wine for a drink offering. If the sacrifice is a ram, give 3 quarts of choice flour mixed with 2½ pints of olive oil, and give 2½ pints of wine for a drink offering. This sacrifice will be very pleasing to the Lord. When you present a young bull as a burnt offering, or a sacrifice in fulfillment of a special vow, or as a peace offering to the Lord, then the grain offering accompanying it must include 5 quarts of choice flour mixed with 2 quarts of olive oil, plus 2 quarts of wine for the drink offering. This will be an offering made by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. These are the instructions for what is to accompany each sacrificial bull, ram, lamb, or young goat. Each of you must do this with each offering you present. If you, native Israelites, want to present an offering by fire that is pleasing to the Lord, you must follow all these instructions. And if any foreigners living among you want to present an offering by fire pleasing to the Lord, they must follow the same procedures. Native Israelites and foreigners are the same before the Lord and are subject to the same laws. This is a permanent law for you. The same instructions and regulations will apply both to you and to the foreigners living among you. The Lord also said to Moses at this time, "Give the people of Israel the following instructions. When you arrive in the land where I am taking you, you will eat from the crops that grow there, but you must set aside as a gift to the but you must set some aside as a gift to the Lord. Present a cake from the first of the flour you grind, and set it aside as a gift, as you do with the first grain from the threshing floor. Throughout the generations to come, you are to present this offering to the Lord each year from the first of your ground flour. But suppose some of you unintentionally fail to carry out all these commands that the Lord has given you through Moses. And suppose some of your descendants in the future fail to do everything the Lord has commanded through Moses. If the mistake was done unintentionally and the community was unaware of it, the whole community must present a young bull for a burnt offering. It will be pleasing to the Lord, and it must be offered along with the prescribed grain offering and drink offering, and with 1 male goat for a sin offering. With it, the priest will make atonement for the whole community of Israel, and they will be forgiven, for it was unintentional sin, and they have corrected it with their offering given to the Lord by fire and by their sin offering. The whole community of Israel will be forgiven, including the foreigners living among you, for the entire population was involved in the sin. If the unintentional sin is committed by an individual, the guilty person must bring a 1-year-old female goat for a sin offering. The priest will make atonement for the guilty person before the Lord, and that person will be forgiven. This same law applies both to native Israelites and foreigners living among you. But those who brazenly violate the Lord's will, whether native Israelites or foreigners, blaspheme the Lord, and they must be cut off from the community. Since they have treated the Lord's word with contempt and deliberately disobeyed his commands, they must be completely cut off and suffer the consequences of their guilt. Penalty for breaking the Sabbath, beginning in Numbers 15, verse 32. One day while the people of Israel were in the wilderness, they caught a man gathering wood on the Sabbath day. He was apprehended and taken before Moses, Aaron, and the rest of the community. They held him in custody because they did not know what to do with him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "This man must be put to death. The whole community must stone him outside the camp." So the whole community took the man outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Tassels on clothing, beginning in Numbers 15, verse 37. And the Lord said to Moses, "Say to the people of Israel, throughout the generations to come, you must make tassels for the hems of your clothing and attach the tassels at each corner with a blue cord. The tassels will remind you of the commands of the Lord, and that you are to obey his commands instead of following your own desires and going your own ways as you are prone to do. The tassels will help you remember that you must obey all my commands and be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, that I might be your God. I am the Lord your God. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Our second hymn this morning is Crown Him with Many Crowns. Pick y'all up that blinding sun this morning. And unfortunately this is a two-page one, but I'll bet you know this one anyway. Oops. Whoops. Let's see. Many crowns, the Lamb upon the throne. Hark how the heavenly anthem drowns all music but its own. Awake my soul and sing of him who died for thee, and hail him as the matchless King through all eternity. Crown whose power says from pole to pole that wars may cease, absorbed in prayer and praise. His reign shall know no end, and round his pierced feet fair flowers of paradise extend their fragrance ever sweet. Crown him the Lord of heaven, one with the Father known, and the blessed Spirit through him give from yonder glorious throne. All hail, Redeemer, hail, for thou hast died for me. Thy praise and glory shall not fail throughout eternity. So they went with that optional ending there. Okay. Let's see. Good morning, Rhonda. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Jim and Peggy. Good morning, Shirley. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all back tomorrow morning at 8.